United States has granted India a temporary 30-day waiver allowing the purchase of Russian crude oil as global energy markets face rising uncertainty amid the escalating conflict in West Asia. Now, the decision by the US Treasury Department comes as fears grow over potential supply disruptions from the Middle East. Now, nearly 40% of India's crude imports move through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping route that could be affected by the ongoing regional tensions. Now, under the emergency waiver, Indian refiners are permitted to purchase Russian oil cargoes that are already at sea and awaiting buyers. The measure is designed to ensure that global oil supplies continue to flow smoothly and prevent a sudden supply crunch in major energy importing economies. India had reduced purchases of Russian crude oil this year following sustained pressure from Washington over the invasion of Ukraine. However, the latest and with regard to the geopolitical tensions and concerns of supply security prompted New Delhi to seek temporary flexibility. Following the waiver, Indian refiners have rapidly returned to market state-run companies including Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum and Mangalore Refinery and have begun negotiating with traders for immediate deliveries of Russian crude. Reports suggest that Indian buyers have already secured around 20 million barrels, unlike earlier months when Russian oil was sold at deep discounts. Current shipments are being offered at premium of $4 to $5 above the Brent crude prices. Some refiners are also tapping Russian crude already stored on tankers near India's coastline to compensate for reduced supplies from the Middle East. The shipment purchased under the waiver are expected to arrive at Indian ports through March and early April. While Washington has described the move as a short-term step aimed at stabilizing global energy markets, it has also indicated that India may eventually increase imports of American crude. The development highlights how the widening conflict in West Asia is beginning to reshape global energy trade flows and forcing governments to balance geopolitical pressures with energy security concerns. India is expected to, in fact, ensure that the supply of the requisite petrochemicals as well as fuel is kept in the domestic market, and now the waiver has come in from the United States where a 30-day emergency waiver has been put in place so that India would be able to buy Russian oil. There have been several tankers that were floating in the Indian Ocean region as well as the Bay of Bengal and in the Arabian Sea with regard to Russian oil, and these tankers are now being tapped for getting crude oil. This is to meet the shortage of crude oil that has happened because of the crisis in West Asia. Following the waiver, Indian refiners have rapidly returned to the market. State-run companies including Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum and Mangalore Refinery have begun negotiating with traders for immediate deliveries of Russian crude. Reports suggest that Indian buyers have already secured around 20 million barrels. Unlike earlier months when Russian oil was sold at deep discounts, current shipments are being offered at a premium of $4 to $5 above Brent crude prices. Some refiners are also tapping Russian crude already that is stored on tankers near India's coastlines to compensate the reduced supplies from the Middle East. The West Asian war has in fact changed the entire dynamics of global energy demand and supply. This has resulted in the Strait of Hormuz being closed because of the war in West Asia, and this has also resulted in at least 40% disturbance with regard to the energy trade that's happening in this region.